and welcome everyone to something we haven't done in a while. It's the, I suppose you could say it's the CBC TV.
Well, it's because like nothing has come out recently to even talk about, so it's like.
And the little bit of news that does come out, we're keeping it to prop up the one.
Yeah, the main cast.
Main one. Yeah, I never like calling it the main cast, but I've always called it that because I don't know what else to say for it. Just I suppose the main one. It's the core.
We're the bottom tier.
The secondary. So yeah. In case you didn't know, Umbrella Academy season 2 has come and gone. Was it last week or the week before?
I believe it was last week. I think it might have come out at the beginning of this week, end of last week, or something like that. I know
it wasn't the beginning of this week because that's today.
It must have been in the end. Yeah, that's true.
I want to say it came out not Friday, the weekend. Friday before.
Yeah, I think it was last Friday. Like, because I remember everybody was talking about it's coming up. Like, I seen a bunch of stuff saying it's starting to drop soon. So.
Yeah. So as always, I'm Mitch. You can find me on Twitter, Mitch692, and once again, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up? You can follow me here. My baritone voice.
Yeah, I apologize for any windy noise and outside sound effects. It is really hot, so my window's wide open. So.
Yeah, I might be the problem.
Just grin and bear with it.
Yes, it's part of sound effects.
So yeah, season 2. I'm just gonna say it right now. Probably opened with the best recap I've seen for a show for a while.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That recap was fantastic. So more of that next season, please, Netflix.
I mean, it was probably one of the best, just catching up type, montage things. Like if you didn't see season 1, you could just see that. Like, not advocating not seeing season 1, but if you didn't have time and you wanted to watch season 2, you could probably just watch that recap.
Yeah, because I was one of those where it's like I wanted to watch season 1 again, but I kind of season 2 snuck up on me and I ran out of time. It's just like, I heard it's got a great recap. I'll just watch that, and it's like, yep, I remember everything now. So
yeah,
thank you for the 5 minutes.
That was season 1 was always on my queue, so to speak. Everything going on, work and stuff like that. So I didn't have really taking care of the family and baby and stuff like that. And it's don't have much time to do much, but I squeeze it in within the last week or two, because I always wanted to sit down and watch it. Never read the comics, but I heard the show was really great.
No, and I wanted to read the comic after season 1, and it was just again one of those where you kept pushing it back, and now to season 2, I'm like, I need to really sit down and just read it.
Yeah, I'm definitely, it's on my to-do list, because, I'm sure we're going to get into, this show a little bit, but, it definitely, sitting down and watching it, I definitely I'm very intrigued to actually read the story,
And I always hear good things about Gerard Way's stuff. I don't know if I've ever actually read anything he's done, but I always hear good things. So.
Yeah.
And, if the show's any indicator, then, hey.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when that comic dropped, I was just kind of pawned it off, because of its, My Chemical Romance lead singer.
Yeah, it's like this guy.
Well, I mean, you see that all the time where famous people do things they want to do and it ends up not really panning out, a la, Spider-Man and what's his face's son, oh man, what's his name? The director. I don't know, but
Spider-Man and what's his face's son?
J.J. Abrams' son.
Stuff
yeah. When famous people do
that came and went.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you any indication how much it really resonated with me. But that's how I pawned it off. So I guess that was bad on me, But watching the season 1, and I'm like, I probably definitely could get into this. It might be a little bit more denser than the TV show, I'm sure, but it seems fun, Almost reminds me of a Mike Mignola.
I want to write X-Men, but I can't write X-Men, so I'm gonna make my own X. Because season 1, if you can hear that car alarm, I apologize. I have no clue what's going on. But season 1 always felt very like Dark Phoenix-y, a little bit. Sean, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so that always like it came off as like a Mike Mignola / X-Men, like Hellboy story with a little bit of like X-Men flavor to it.
So it was very Dark Phoenix-y that first season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it almost, to me, like just watching the TV show, it almost does it better than what the Fox attempts were.
Which isn't it's not a very high bar to do.
That's true. I mean, I'm sure my 2-year-old son could probably pen a better, script than those movies, but but it definitely did have that X-Men flavor to it,
Yeah. And just to get it out of the way, I have the same criticism as I did the first season. I need more Ellen Page's Anya.
Yeah.
Like, for a name as big as hers, like, she's not the biggest actress in the world. Like, she had Juno, and she kind of like sizzled down a little bit. Yeah, she's a recognizable character, and she just wasn't that present in the first season. And in this one, she had a bit more to do. But I never felt like they gave her enough, or she has enough to do.
Well, I mean, that might be the problem of the character in itself,
It could very well be, yeah.
But I think she does like a good job representing. I think she does a great job. She maybe any indication from what my friend has told me about it. Season 3 might actually, might be a better representation, and she might have more screen time. But
I hope so, because they haven't actually announced Season 3, have they?
I think they did. I'm not entirely. They'd be stupid if they didn't, And I think this is like a perfect show for Netflix if you think about it, because it's like almost like you could do 3 seasons of this and just leave it alone,
Yeah.
And that's perfect for the Netflix model where they cancel it after the 3rd season.
They only like their 30 episodes. No.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily praise Netflix a lot because of just my personal opinions about them and stuff like that. But I think this benefited from having the Netflix, treatment.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, I love this show because the characters are just so crazy. That's why
they're very very archetypey. But they do something different with them. They're all they've all got their own little quirks, and they're all like the quirky personalities. They're all dysfunctional. It's all
it almost when I said it felt like a Mike Mignola Hellboy thing. Because that's what the Hellboy series is really known for, is just the quirky characters and what they look. I mean, this is a show that has a humanoid fish. On top of a.
I love that fish. That fish is so good.
I think the only gripe that I had really was Luther, didn't I don't think they represented his aesthetic as good as I think they could have.
Oh, really? See, I thought they did it so much better than season 1. Season 1 was very much this guy's clearly got balloons in his arms. That's all.
No, I mean,
this one is the texture on the suit. Looked.
Well, I mean, looking at the character art and stuff like that, I mean, you look at it, and I understand that there's only so much you can do, but I think they could have added a little bit more to the character's aesthetic to kind of, because it just feels like he's a really hairy, strong guy. That's what it looks like to me. If you put a couple tubes in there or something like that, just to represent the look of the comic a little bit more. See,
I didn't actually know that's what he looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like a head on top of a robot ape body,
Yeah, it's a bit more like how the fish is.
Yeah, and I think they did the best I guess they could, but they could have done. I think they could have did a little bit better to just add a little bit to it. I know you can't do a giant size, monkey humanoid body, but you could have added those I don't know, the little pipings and stuff like that.
I say you could easily have something in the third season that alludes to that. Kind of like how Luke Cage did the old school like tiara.
Yeah.
You give him like that sort of situation to go on.
Yeah, but I mean, like, other than that, man, I think if I had to, like, I mean, it's probably one of the better comic book, and I'm putting all the Marvel stuff out to the side because I'm not like it's kind of biased to me. But like, out of all the three well, not just three, but like the non-Marvel stuff, I think that is like a close second in my top three. You know, like
top three. What? Just shows in general.
Shows in general that are actually four, because you know I feel like it's a little too polished. That's why I love the Doom Patrol. I think that's like my number one because of just like it's got the unpolishedness of that show. It like I think it represents the comic very accurately, and like the roughness, the low budgetness, it's part of the charm, you know. In between the Umbrella Academy and the Boys, those shows seem a lot polished, you know. Like it just seems a little too, I don't know, you know. Like you can tell the budget's a little bit higher, and like, you know, giving a budget that high for shows like that doesn't necessarily make it the greatest. And you know, I love this. I love the second season more than the first season, 100%.
So that I understand what you're saying with the whole polishedness. I don't think I necessarily agree, because I think, you know, as you say, that Doom Patrol it leans into not having the biggest budget. It knows it's not an expensive show. It knows it's cheap. It's very self-aware in that sense. It is part of its charm. But would that work? You know, not everything works with something else. Like you can't just lift a style and give it to something else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like taking the Chris Nolan Batman movies and trying to make a Superman movie out of it. It doesn't quite work. Like you can like it, fair play. Yeah. I'm saying no one can like it, but it something feels off with it. So I think I wouldn't mind seeing an Umbrella Academy like Doom Patrol in that sense, just to compare the two. But
I don't honestly think you could do Umbrella Academy. I'm not using it as a ding as so much as like the Umbrella Academy is almost, you need that budget on the screen. Like you almost need it because of like all the craziness that you see on that show.
I was gonna say all the apocalyptic stuff and Luther's suit, the power.
Yeah, the characters, the aesthetic of the characters. I mean, like you can't glue a fishbowl to a guy's head and just call it, you know,
a fish.
Like the character, you know, like the character. But like, I don't know, you know, it just. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't like it because of that. I just felt like I almost put like, okay, so my three would be Doom Patrol, Umbrella Academy, and then The Boys. You know, but like, I don't necessarily ding Umbrella Academy, because I have the same argument for The Boys, but The Boys, it's just overproduced. Like it's almost overproduced.
See, I can understand it, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the point. Because they are, you know, they're supposed to be very corporate, very government run, very squeaky clean, even though they're not. So it's like that's.
I don't know. Like
I think it lends itself to being a bit more polished in that sense.
Yeah, I can see that, but there's just always something off about like. There's something every time I watch the show. There's just something off to me about it. It just seems. It seems like, and I had the same arguments as I did as the first one from what I've seen in season 2. I mean, could it change after season 2? Sure, you know. But like, I honestly don't think that the direction of the show or the way the aesthetic of the show is going to change in season 2. It's just going to be, I don't know. Like I said, I've always had the same gripes so far with The Boys, but like with Umbrella Academy. It's just, to me, when I say that, it's just kind of nitpicking because I can't find anything else with it.
I was gonna say it's such a good show. Like even like just to get to more on the plot of it, as someone who hasn't read the book, I wasn't expecting a hey, we just stopped the apocalypse in season 1. Spoilers, you haven't seen it, but you should have watched it if you're here. And then kind of like, oh, we've solved that, but it's literally followed us back into 1903 and it's here again, and we now got us up on another apocalypse. Like that I feel I wasn't expecting it, but I feel it's like
it's almost like a Back to the Future type situation where
like more of like a parody situation. Obviously not like isn't this like dumb and funny parody, but you know, it's just it leans into it because that's the sort of show that it is. And it's like, oh yeah, now we've got to stop another one because we didn't really stop the first one. And dub.
And it helps with the fact that like the cast is really strong.
Oh yeah, the cast is fantastic.
Like, it's almost near impossible to kind of like, I can't pinpoint a weak character. If there's a weak character, it's like very minute to me, and I don't see it. It's not glaring to me.
I was gonna say I can't think of anyone that was like, even the new characters in season 2. It's just like, yeah, no, they're all strong.
Yeah. All strong. I do miss Cha-Cha and Chi-Chi a lot.
Yeah,
I think he was. For me, they were the standout for season 1. But like, you know, they replaced those characters pretty well. Because like, there's a lot of memorable characters. I mean, like, you know, like Hardgrave feels like a pretty accurate representation of like a Professor X type character.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but like, you know, all the characters are, and it's just they're all very unique in with their powers. You know, it's not just like you can fly this and you can do this and you can do that. You know, it's like they're all pretty unique power sets. You know, and like, you know, it's just fun. It was just really fun to watch. Like,
yeah. No,
you know, but Punga, love it. I want more Punga.
Wasn't it R.I.P. Punga?
I mean, you never know. Season 3, you know.
True. Then again, we have a time traveling like kid. Not that he's a kid; he's a 58-year-old man. But you know, he's still. But speaking of the time travel, they did I don't know if it was just really obvious to me or not. But because obviously the whole crux is they're stuck in the past because 5 can't really time travel properly. You know, we know the reason why he's a kid still is because he got stuck in the future and couldn't get right back, and then we came back and screwed everything up, which they touch upon in this because it's like, oh yeah, you know, we literally, it's just a typo. It was whatever the decimal place was supposed to be.
It's almost like coding. You take one decimal out of a code and it just doesn't work. You know?
Yeah, and it's. Oh, I forgot I was going to go with that now.
Sorry, I didn't. That was me.
No, it was my own fault. I got into decimal points. My brain just focused on that and completely slipped away from. I think what I was going to try and get you saying, they haven't all got a hold on it. It's like they're not all squeaky clean and perfect with everything. You know?
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
The rumor.
That's exactly the one I was going to talk about. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah, she's like, you know, it's that sort of a power is a very easy one. You know, if you're just talking to someone, that's pretty easy to get hold of. But then you obviously got like Anya, who was always never allowed to use the powers. Yeah, to be like stopped and held back because
it almost reminds she's the Jean Grey of this group.
The group, yeah.
And like, I mean. I always, like I said, I stick to the fact that this does a better job of like doing an X-Men story than the Fox movies ever did. You know, like it's just.
You could even argue season 1 was Dark Phoenix. This is like Days of Future Past in a sense.
Yep.
Like it's very much like, the whole time traveling. It's very much like similar in that sense.
And like the character designs are pretty unique, and I loved it, man. I just like, you know, it's like one of those shows where I was just like, it made it easy to go to the episode 1. It makes that binge thing much more easier, you know, versus like.
I think this is the first Netflix series in a while I haven't binge watched.
Really?
Actually, I think this is Snowpiercer. Even though Snowpiercer you couldn't really binge because it was weekly, but like this one, I was like, right, I'm gonna watch half of it on the Friday it came out. And then I watched another 3 episodes sometime last week, and then I literally just finished it today as we're recording this on Monday. So,
I went through it. I stayed up pretty late to watch you know, like I think I got through it in 2 days straight.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you know, very yeah. I just love the character designs, the interactions. It's like, like the Swedes are
Oh, the
pretty
Swedes are
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah,
So for people that don't talk, fantastic acting.
and it's like, and they do a really good job of taking this real world, like things that happen and kind of interweaving it with the story.
Like the John F. Kennedy stuff.
Yeah, and then Luther with Ruby.
Yeah, they were all taking part in like certain like historical.
And then Diego stopping the guy, and like, I mean, it's just it's very interesting, especially season 2. I think season 2 really piqued my interest a little bit more.
So, season 1 was great. Season 2 is definitely like, right, this is our stride. We're gonna stick with it. Like we found, let's just go. But a couple of little cliffhangers and little twists.
Yeah.
The very last 2 episodes, Hargreaves is not a human.
Yeah.
He's definitely some kind of alien, which I honestly didn't see that one going. And also, they get back, they get back to the Umbrella Academy in 2019, except of course it's not their Umbrella Academy. It's not even the Umbrella Academy. It's the Sparrow Academy, and Ben's.
Yep, and
Ben
seems to be like
very very peach fuzzy teenage stash and the little emo swipe over.
Edgy,
Do we know Ben's power? Was it Ben was the squid chest, wasn't he? The tentacle.
He was the horror, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
Like he summons those like tentacle, like the ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I wasn't. I get confused as if that was him or if that was, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, because it's
one that can see him all the time.
Yeah, well, I think his power was to, it was kind of like they were kind of tied in a way.
It seemed like from the end of season 1, they were very much like reliant on each other.
Yeah, I mean, they were like when Ben died, like it was, God, I can't remember his name.
No, his name's just gone right in my head.
But he ended up being more tied to that character. I don't know. It was just like a very interesting dynamic. Especially when you get into like the cult thing. Like it was
Klaus.
Klaus. That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah, it was very cool. I liked it, and then like to see that, and I kind of feel like the little kid that Vanya saves.
He's got to play a role somewhere.
Yeah, he's definitely involved. And like I said, I've never read the comics, so I don't know.
I'm really in 2 minds just thinking about it. It's like, do I want to read it and know everything going in? Because I quite like seeing things that, where it's actually genuinely surprising and I can get invested in it. But at the same time, it's like, they're going to clearly change stuff. But
yeah, they're gonna. I think they're
gonna. I don't know how close they're sticking to everything. I assume it's fairly close, but it's just like,
you're. Yeah, it's a very
It's my like anime manga argument. It's like I like reading some stuff, but I don't like watching and reading things at the same time because then I kind of get bored of watching it.
Because that ties into the problem where they just translate it page for page, like verbatim. Like some shows do a better job at, I don't know. It's like The Walking Dead. I don't think it would be half as interesting to people if they translate it from page to page, because this is like, if you read the comic, you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Then again, that show's literally just, we're going to do the same thing every season.
Yeah, with different people.
He's a new character for the season, and then we're going to move on to the next place.
Well, that show is basically the shark that jumped the shark that jumped the shark,
it
like
really
6
is.
times over. I'm not even going to get into how bored I am of this show.
I left that season 1, I think. I was like, yep, no, not for me. Not for me.
Season 1 was good, but it's just like after that, it's like the same problem, over and over, different person, different antagonist, but it's basically the same problem.
Well, right, so I think we're both in agreement that if you haven't watched Umbrella Academy Season 2, go watch it. I don't know why you listen to this if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But
Go.
I think for the
read it.
most part, there's a lot of stuff in there that we haven't discussed, and I think people should probably listen to it itself. But it's very.
I
It's
don't like listening to myself, anyways.
It's definitely one of the top comic book shows, and it's one of those shows. I wasn't necessarily asking for it exactly, but it's this
is a nice surprise.
Yeah, like this and The Boys. Like the Boys isn't my favorite one. I know people love that show. I really enjoy it. Some of it was a bit gratuitous in the first season. Hopefully, season 2 is not like that. But I imagine it's going to be. It's a Garth Ennis book, for God's sake. But it's opening that gateway for indie stuff. And so if we open it slowly with the superhero stuff, and then we can open it more like with the weird wacky stuff. Like if we ever get an East of West show, I can die happy. We'll never get it because I think Hickman and Amazon fell out, but I can always hope that someone else is smart enough to pick it up and do it properly. But
they're 100% stupid. They don't do something with this show.
Yeah, or even like his Decorum, even though Decorum is only like 3 issues deep at this point, but Decorum will be an absolute brain twist of a show.
Wasn't the Scalp too? Wasn't that supposed to come in like at some point?
I think so.
I for some reason assumed that they had like a deal or a TV deal at some point because that was an interesting comic. I like that too. You know, it was really.
But yeah,
I don't think it would play very well today in this climate.
I mean, if the Boys, they can rework the Boys to work in this climate because, that book is not worth going to read.
No. Yikes. It's 100%. That comic is 100% of its time and creator. And even then,
its time was very like it shouldn't have happened in the mid 2000s, but it did.
100%. It feels like they took like 6 steps back in terms of like comics when that comic came out. Like this show definitely like for all its problems with me, I think the show did like 100 times better than the comic ever did. You know?
Oh, absolutely. It's just like you took one look at that book and was like, yeah, I'm not reading that. I'm not
definitely gonna do another write over on this one, man.
It's like Ultimatum. It's like, you don't need to read Ultimatum. Please never read Ultimatum. Even now, you have more of an excuse to not read Ultimatum.
Yeah.
Read Umbrella Academy instead. I haven't read it, but I can imagine it's definitely worth the read. So we'll be back when The Boys comes out, which I think is next month.
Next month, soon.
So we'll be back with that. So